The world in which we live at any moment in time is a world of our own creation. We live in a universe that we create through consciousness.
So I met this guy, came to one of my seminars. He said, Paul, you know, I want to tell you one of the most amazing stories in my life.
The concept behind Abundance for Life was two parts. One was trance breaking, the other is wealth making.
He said, I was in Vegas, I had a business meeting. I told my wife, let's meet back here at 2 p.m.
When we look at the idea of creating our abundance, most people think about creating wealth from the standpoint of, I don't have wealth now, therefore I have to do something in the human experience to create wealth.
Comes out of a lunch meeting, where's his wife? No place to be seen. He said, you know, I gave her 20 bucks. She said she wanted to go play slot machines. I don't know where she is. She must have blown through that 20 bucks a long time ago.
According to all the mystics and all the sages, and if you look at quantum physics and explanations of the universe, we realize we're infinitely abundant.
He's looking, and there's this big crowd over by one of the roulette tables, right? And he realizes his wife's in the middle of the crowd, right? So he says to the manager, the floor manager's walking by, he said, what's going on over there? Oh, we've got a winner. What does that mean? A winner. No matter what they do, they win. We don't know. It's just a lucky streak. They go on the lucky streak, and they win every time they play. He goes, doesn't that bother you guys? He laughs. Nah, it doesn't bother us. Pretty soon they'll get bored with it, and they'll go play the slot machines and put all the money back.
But what we have is we look at our human existence, we see limitation, we see time, we see space, we see actions necessary to get someplace that we aren't already.
So he walked up to the crowd, walked around behind, snuck in next to his wife and say, hey, honey, what's going on? Oh, I'm so glad you're here. You know, get me out of this place. This is ridiculous. He said, well, what's going on? She said, it's the weirdest thing. The guy says he's going to spin the thing. He puts the ball in there, and there's a spot on the table that lights up. So I put my money on that spot, and I win. And he's thinking about this. He said, could you show me how that works? You know, sure. Put a lot on there, would you? Guy spins it, puts a ball in there. Right there, you know. She puts a pile of money on it. Bring, drink. Winner! And everybody in the crowd, you know, it's like, ah! And she says, can we get out of here? Says, sure, you know, so they gather up all the chips, big basketfuls, and they're hauling it back. She said, I'd like to go play the slot machines.
So we move into self-improvement, and self-improvement gets it all backwards. To improve myself means that myself, the true self, the soul self, isn't complete, isn't abundant as it is naturally.
How soon would you get bored if everything you did was perfect all the time? Oh, you say never. Yeah, right. Okay, prove it. Well, that's what I intend to do. I want to prove to you how easy this is.
So breaking the trance that the game is really about trying to make something out here and recognizing who we are from the inside and then creating from that place of fullness, that's what abundance for life is. Go into your abundance, go into your power, recognize who you are already, and from that place, create the fullness that you choose. Then every creation that you make, you can appreciate it as a perfect creation.
Our purpose here is to awaken to that abundance and power that is your natural state. Our objectives are threefold. Open access to your infinite intelligence, manifest the abundant life that you choose, and step into your power now.
When we see the world reflected back to us and we like what we see, it's easy for the conscious mind to create attachments to it. And people will defend or work very hard to keep from losing what it is that they've created in life. In fact, they'll more vehemently defend to keep what they have than they will to go out and try to create something new. In essence, the mind wraps around its own creation, forms attachments to it, beliefs about the importance and the existence of it. And as a result of that, our consciousness is always investing a lot of power and energy in those things that appear outside of us.
So what are you here for? What are you going to create for yourself in your life? As you look at it and you say, what's my next step?
Now, if you want a different result in your life, if you'd really like to create something other than what you've created up until now, then we hold in consciousness the image, the visualization, the acceptance of an intention to live a different life, to live a life that we imagine in essence. As we hold that, all of the energy necessary to make that happen rush in. But you see, thought is creative. Consciousness is the one creative force. So when we hold a thought, we hold an intention, that's literally giving out the energy necessary to attract and build whatever it is we intend to create.
When your financial dreams have manifest, how will you know that your personal transformation has occurred? Has it happened yet? Did it happen in those moments that you had your eyes closed? Let me ask you, how is your life right now? How is your life right now? By every measure you can take in this seat right now, is your life okay or perfect? If it's not, who made it something other than perfect? When I asked you the question about the perfection that you are, there's usually two voices. One voice that says, yeah, right on. And the other voice that says, probably not.
Most of my work throughout the years has been help people to gain access to those thinking modes that produce miraculous results.
You know there's at least these two voices, right? There's that voice of higher wisdom, and there's this voice that kind of reacts to things.
I use this image of two thinking modes. One is the programmed subconscious and conscious mind that are designed to keep everything as it is, to protect us from screwing up. I call that the reactive robot.
Well, this is the one that projects power and control to the world out there. Its motto is, life is short and then you die. This is the limited conscious mind. This is the part of us that has all the subconscious programming about what's possible and what's not. It's about 1% of reality, but for most people living in phase one of their life, it's the whole story, right? Life is tough. You got to react to it. If you don't react correctly, you're going to get mangled in it. It's a cause-effect world that the reactive robot lives in. It has one purpose and one purpose only, to make sure that this life that you live will work out okay. Basically, what it's involved with is very discrete wavelengths. When it creates a brainwave pattern, it's called the beta state. Very short brainwave, little burst. It's really good for analytical thinking. It's really good for being specialized at something, being active and being involved and doing stuff. This is both past and future oriented. When you say, how are you right now? It says, well, if it wasn't for the stuff that went on in the past, I'd be really great right now.
As long as we're in the reactive mode, there's no way that we're really going to have access to the fullness of who we are. Every time a fear comes in, every time somebody seems to violate our sensibilities, we'll react to it and we'll feel like we're victims of the world that we see.
Okay, but it's very insistent. This part of you says, now listen to me. If you do exactly what I tell you, everything's going to work out okay. but don't tell anyone else. The deceiver. The deceiver says you're small, you're weak, and you are helpless. And what I need to do is I need to protect you. And so there's a program that runs throughout this physical universe trying to set it up so it looks like there's always this oppositional force that's trying to trip you up. But then there's this other thinking mode, and you've been here as well. This is the part of you that knows that there's an infinite source, there's an infinite supply. You come from this place, it's moving in and through all of you, and you realize that life isn't happening out there. Life is an inside game. There's no out there. And if you die, it's not the end. Life is a continuum. It keeps on going. This is the vastly non-conscious part of yourself. This is the 99% of reality that the conscious mind can't dial into. This is the place where the quantum universe plays. The brain in this state of this thinking mode has very long brain waves, theta, alpha brain waves. When you're in a room full of people with really short brain waves and you start producing these long brainwave patterns, you produce something called miracles. Okay? The researchers will call them anomalies. We don't understand what happened. It's an anomaly.
So by introducing people to the types of brainwave patterns or the modalities of thinking that allow us to produce amazing results, people will get to where they want to go much faster. They won't be limited by those barriers that the rational mind sets in place. We're not victims of the world we see. We're the creative force operating in the world that we see, using this one substance, this one power, this one energy of the universe to create the life that we choose. So by going into this, what I would call the I-2, the infinite intelligence, then what we do is we really experience the fullness of who we are wherever we might be.
Let's talk about the feeling of the infinite intelligence. The feeling is one of relaxed spaciousness, of breathing room, of possibility. There's a gentle, playful exploration that's involved in this kind of mindset. There's appreciation for all. There's Eggbach. You know Eggbach, don't you? Everything's gonna be okay. Eggbach. I mean, when your kid comes up to you and says, Mom, Dad, everything's gonna be okay. So the first approach when that reactive robot says, what do you say? Eggbach. Eggbach, everything's gonna be okay. You see, when we look at what the point is here, when we look at these two thinking modes, the laws of increase are associated with I-2, your infinite intelligence. The laws of poverty and scarcity are associated with R2. When you're in the reactive robotic mode of thinking, possibility shuts down. Now, why would you create a robotic part of you? It wasn't something you were born into, you had to create it. The expansive presence and power of God coming into the human experience, what better way to make the world seem real than come in absolutely vulnerable and helpless? Imagine you just got separated from the only source of nourishment that you have. What does the traumatic stress of this experience induce in us? It induces a post-traumatic stress syndrome, otherwise known as an ego, a false identity. I am not one with God. I am weak. I am powerless. I'm helpless. I'm separate from God. I am nothing. Right? Now, let's set it up so that we reinforce that all through your childhood years. Now you get to be an adult and you say, you know, I'd really like to enjoy more wealth in my life. Here comes this program.
So when you look at your world and you see, it's not perfect. I mean, look, I don't have the income that I want. Great. You can create the income you want. But what do? We focus on the reasons why we don't have an income. We separate from our power.
So what are we going to do about it?
By recognizing what you are creating is your perfect creation, you step into that power. You reclaim the creativity, you reclaim the energy that you put outside of you.
I want you to imagine what your infinite intelligence looks like. What would your infinite intelligence look like if we could have a manifest vision of it? Well, first of all, it would see clearly what's going on with you, so it would have really big eyes. Then it would have a really big heart, probably the biggest heart of any animal in the world. Then it would have a very high perspective to see clearly from the spiritual perspective. And then it would probably have antenna on its head to channel the infinite presence and power and universal knowledge into the physical.
Yeah, actually, I think you're talking about me, aren't you?
Well, this is I2, and I'm delighted that you've chosen to join us today. Thanks. I2, what do you have to say about the reactive robot?
Well, enthusiasm comes from the root entheos, which means God within. If you're having an internal struggle letting that God presence within you come out to play, just remember, you don't have to believe you're powerful or that you're a perfect spiritual being, but I'm just wondering if it'd be okay with everyone, just for fun, and just for now, to know how magnificent you really are. And if only for these few days, just this weekend, would you all be willing to play full out? What do you say? Yes?
Okay, but I would like to say this is kind of a key point. When the whole reactive robot thing comes in, immediately people think, I should try to get rid of this reactive robot. It's holding me back. I should go into some kind of self-improvement mode. I should try to annihilate this thing. What's your sense of what the reactive robot actually does for us?
R2 is doing a perfect job all the time. It's always carrying out your perfect plan. Remember, you are the presence and power of God, here to play in the limited game called the human experience. You had a lot of power to hide, and R2 is just the mechanism to help you do that.
Okay, well, there was a fellow, I read a book, maybe some of you have read it. It's Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now.
Oh, yeah. That's nice. He had a spiritual awakening when he realized that there was only one true voice within him. Every other arguing voice was still him. So when he inquired to find out what was there, he found the power and presence of God.
Okay, and there was another fellow. If anybody has seen this guy, his name's David Hawkins. He's an MD psychiatrist. He had a spiritual
author of Power versus Force and Eye of the Eye.
Exactly. He had a spiritual awakening as well. It blew his hair back. When it happened, it was like...
There's always transplants.
Well, the thing was that he didn't know what to do with it, like many don't. So what he did is he opened up the shop, and people lined up down the block. Anybody who came into his presence would be healed of both physical and mental illnesses.
Wow. Paul, you know that the great spiritual sages and mystics have been saying the same things throughout history. And now the world is ready to awaken to the deeper truth about what's going on. The main thing that all of them agreed upon is to fully embrace and appreciate the magnificence of who we are. The reactive robot R2 is your perfect creation, designed to keep a lid on who you are, so that you could come into the game we call our human life and make it seem like this is all there is.
Okay, well, that's why self-improvement, as we've known of it in the past, doesn't make sense. Because essentially what you're doing with self-improvement is you're just putting energy into a part of you which is designed to serve you by hiding your power. So you're just reinforcing the disguise.
Exactly. People set goals to change who they are, but in doing so, they're simultaneously claiming that they don't have something. But that's impossible. You are living your perfect creation. You are always standing in the fullness of your abundance.
The idea is when you look at wealth and you look at your finances and you say, too much debt, not enough money. I need to be financially independent. Are you believing that you're standing in the fullness of your abundance?
Trying to get out of debt, right?
Exactly.
So you create more money and get out of debt. But how long before you're back in debt again?
Well, this is an interesting point. Now, I met a man whose annual income one year, personal annual income, take-home cash dollars, was $1 billion. $1 billion.
You know Bill Gates?
No, actually, it was somebody else. Now, what was interesting, once he hit that $1 billion mark, he realized there was something really missing in his life. He tried to fill it. Think about it. You're going to go out and create wealth. It's like the dogs lined up at the Greyhound track. You open up the gates, you run after that mechanical rabbit, and you win the race.
And what?
Then what? You see, if there's a hollowness to it, it's because of one reason. The Creator in this life has come in for one purpose and one purpose only, to expand your appreciation for who you are. When you approach wealth making, wealth building from the standpoint, not fixing what's broken, but for recognizing the magnificence of who you are, just here to play, you can create anything you choose.
Self-improvement implies that the soul self that you are can be improved upon. You cannot improve upon the true self. Look through the eyes of God. You are the most magnificent creation, and everything about you and the life you live is perfect in every way.
Is when we look at the limitations that R2 has so diligently been defending, we can recognize it's not about fixing R2, it's about coming here to play full out.
You got it. Part of R2's job is to bring you where you've been hiding your power. It communicates to you in feelings. Whatever you would label your fear or your pain or your financial concerns, right in there is where you have hidden your power.
Exactly. The conscious mind is always looking at the world of experiences and calling it exactly the opposite of what's really going on. You look at, you've created a mess and you say, I'm a screw up. You look at creating wealth and you say, it's not enough. You look at the world and you say, time and space, a world of objects, but all it is energy.
There is only one energy, one source, one substance, one power made to seem like a physical universe. Consciousness creates everything from this one substance, like an artist creating all the world's ceramics from one clay.
When the human mind looks at the world, we see differences. We see separation. I can look at one thing and call it good. I can look at another thing and call it bad, but it's still just that one substance. Look at anything you've created in your life that you said was no good, that you wish it hadn't happened, that you wish you could have gotten rid of it, and I will tell you it was perfect, just the way it was.
One perfect energy disguised by the mind. We place ourselves in a trance of our own design to make our experience look like troubles or miracles. Now, R2 can be a servant to bring you to where you are in a trance, believing that the world outside you is real and powerful, and you're not.
Okay, well, this is the whole point behind the new course that I developed. It's called Abundance for Life, and the subtitle is Trance Breaking Wealth Making. Tell me a little bit more about this whole trance breaking idea. What can you say about that?
Look, you're a spiritual being.
Yep.
Here to play in the human experience.
Yep.
The presence and power of God is your essential nature.
Got it.
You can never be separated from it, okay?
Even though it looks like I could be separated from it.
I know.
Okay.
But to make the human experience seem real, you had to have amnesia for who you are and hide your power. And where did you hide it?
We have to hide our power in the place we'll never look. So where do you think that is, gang? Inside what we fear most, okay?
Oh, yeah.
This is exactly why it's such a perfect design. Because if you hide all your power in the place that you will never go, your reactive robot is perfectly set to make sure you never go there. So every time you start getting close to your power, what's it going to do? Get out of there! Don't you know this is going to kill you?
Oh, you all right over here?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Listen, R2 will make sure as your protector to keep you away from anything that looks or feels like it has the power to hurt you. But you cannot be hurt. Nothing in the world can hurt a spiritual being.
Okay, so every time that we get close to our power, we feel like we should run away. What do?
Every time you feel fear,
Yeah.
discomfort, anger, pain,
Yeah.
right there, when R2 is telling you to get away,
Yeah.
it is really showing you the exact place to reclaim who you really are. It's a double whammy, Paul.
It is a double whammy. Now listen to this. If you walk into the place that you fear most and you encounter your power, what does that feel like? It feels like chaos. It feels like I'm going to die here. It feels like it's going to be too intense for me to even handle. You walk into that place, there's a double whammy because two things happen. Number one, you can see the perfect creation that is yours. So you reclaim the creativity it took to create it and make it seem real. Secondly, you get to reclaim the energy and power you hid in that place. So every time you've confronted a fear, really stood in it, what did you discover, gang? What did you discover? Did it not cause you to expand your appreciation for who you are?
Yeah, you know, money is a perfect example of hidden power as well.
Exactly. Money is an amazing place to hide a lot of power. You know what I'm talking about? Some people will not carry a $100 bill around with them. Why?
They don't have one.
Because they don't have 100. Now, just a minute. We said we've got infinite abundance, so why wouldn't we have a $100 bill? The idea is if I put $1 million on a table right here and some of you stood around it, many of you would think, wow, there's so much power there. And they'd step back and they'd say, but me, I'm not powerful.
The money game is a perfect place to disguise a lot of power because people have a lot of energy tied up in that one. I want to acknowledge that throughout our lives, R2 commands a lot of attention, and that's a good thing. All right, you created R2 to keep your focus off who you really are, making sure you can play in the human experience. But really, which is more interesting now?
I2 is more interesting, but what's got your attention on a daily basis?
R2, yeah.
Exactly. So what are you going to do about it? Yeah, somebody said, he says go into it.
Well, R2 definitely keeps your attention focused on money, doesn't it? All right, now, if you have too little money, you're going to worry. If you have too much, you'll think your taxes are going to be too intense. If limitations are where your focus is, guess what you'll consistently create?
If limitations are where your focus is, what will you create? You're centered in the truth of who you are, focused on the abundance, you're going to see the manifestation of that.
That's it. Let's be clear about the real purpose of money. Money is solely for the expression of appreciation.
Okay, do you get this? Listen, abundance is your natural state. You came in to this physical experience for the expansion of your experience of appreciation. The concept of money is one to carry that energy. It's the perfect physical vehicle. I like the service you gave me. I reach into my pocket. I give you this expression of appreciation. It carries that. Money has no reality. It's make-believe. But it can facilitate in the physical experience, it can facilitate that transfer of one thing and one thing only, the expression of appreciation. And think of the word appreciation. What does the word appreciate mean? Increase. It means increase. Every time you express appreciation, you're focusing on the concept of increase. As long as you got the idea that everything's tied up in numbers, this is how much I have, and I can tell these are the numbers I've got. This.
Listen, I know R2 has your daily attention about money, but remember that the communication from your infinite intelligence is way more interesting.
Okay, so how many of you have tried to get rid of the negative fear-based messages of R2? How many of you? When it comes to money, have you tried to work on that? How many of you have felt fears about money? There's some people whose hands haven't gone up. Okay, well, how many of you have ever had worries about money? How many of you have ever had worries about debt? Anxieties around money of any kind? Okay, they are going to dominate our mind as long as we're focused on how much dollars are coming into our lives.
Remember, all of these come from a faulty inference about who you are. You can't fix or heal a faulty inference.
Listen to this. You can't heal a faulty inference. It's made up.
It isn't real. You have to confront the seeming reality to discover this. You have to walk into the thing you claim is real and has power over you.
Okay, so trying to get rid of your subconscious programming is a common approach to self-improvement practices. By imagining we're dealing with our negatives, we avoid feeling the power. Think of it this way. Somebody really angers me, and here it sits on a table in front of me. And I think, I'm so angry, I'm so frustrated. Oh, I'm going to change my state. I'm going to go to peace. Meanwhile, where's your energy? It's all on the table. And what we did, we went to peace and we walked away from the presence and power that is our own and left it sitting there on the table. That's what self-improvement could do if you take it from the wrong position. Now look, I've been in the self-improvement business for 30 years. If you look at what you're getting this weekend from the standpoint of I'm trying to improve myself, you're in the self-improvement trap. Everything that you experience here can be seen from the highest possible perspective. That's what we're encouraging you to take right now.
Yes, to get rid of R2 involves bringing in a judge, a jury, and an executioner.
Yep.
All right? I know some of you like to do that, too. Right now, R2 is the jailkeeper, and you are in the prison of your false beliefs about who you are. How do you think the reactive robot is going to respond to your plan? It's going to work extra hard to lock you up and shut you up. It will literally throw all kinds of diversions up for you.
So until we start focusing on the infinite intelligence and creating from the highest possible perspective, we're not really appreciating the fullness of who we are.
Okay, let's say you're in a baseball game. 9th inning, bases loaded, and you're up to bat. Now anything can happen. You live your whole life within the parameters of a set of rules for the human game. We are feeling beings, and the human experience is a feeling experience.
You know, the idea is this is what we're here to experience. The feeling of it. It's the 9th inning. The feeling is why we create games like this. Do you see how perfect baseball is? It looks like you don't know what's going to happen. It looks like anything could happen. It looks like with this next pitch, I could hit a grand slam or strike out. Perfect game. The human game is the same way. And all of it is a feeling game. This world you live in, this body you live in, is a feeling being. We're here to feel our feelings. How do you feel right now?
I'm good.
Are you okay right now? 5 minutes ago was a right now experience. How did you feel then? 5 minutes from now is going to be a right now experience. How will you feel then? Who knows? Who knows? One thing is for sure, we're here to feel whatever we create. Got it? I2, what's next?
All right, where you are today is about playing the game full out without the limitations you impose on yourself and reinforce through your reactive robot R2. Use R2 and your infinite intelligence will guide you. I got your back. Now, Paul, go ahead and show them the power of R2's focus on perception so we can get to the money exercises, okay?
Okay, perfect.
I'll see you
Listen. Bye.
Bye.
Now, the question still remains, why would we create this reactive robot? Gang, it's to make the game interesting.
The whole game of the human experience is about coming in as the presence and power of God manifested into a limited experience.
There is no doubt that you are the presence and power of God here in this world to play full out in the human experience.
And there's no limit to the expansion that's possible. So when I say what the Abundance for Life course is really encouraging us all to do is to play at this expanded level, to step into a greater appreciation for who you are and the magnificence that's available to you. And as you do that, you get to play at a bigger level.
There is no question of this. It is absolutely the fact, and you know that this is true. when the reactive robot has you narrowly focused in short brain waves, convinced you got to protect yourself from all the evils of those bad feelings that are there in your life, every concern is the reactive robot bringing to your attention for your service the place where you hid your power. And there is one reason why your infinite intelligence is there tapping you on the shoulder saying, please accept who you are. Please accept your power. You created this. We are so trained not to consume our shadow. Our shadow has made us stealth, has made us cunning, has made us great warriors. It has made us the police of the universe, right? It is a powerful thing that we've created. Where's the heart? Where's your soul in that? The invitation is to recognize how the reactive robot has brought you to this place. Look at where you're sitting. For this you have been spared. This experience right here. It brought you here. Does that deserve some thanks? Yes. So the wolf biting at my heel about, Paul, you're not a good learner, created a multi-million-dollar company around human learning and development. I'm delighted. Now, when that stuff still comes up, which it does from time to time, I see it as that magnificent part of me bringing to my attention, Paul, here's someplace else you hid your power. Now, the Abundance for Life course is about that. Trance breaking, wealth making. Now, a lot of people have how to manifest. That's not an issue. What we come to from in this course, where we come from, is the idea that it's not about trying to fix you. It's not about trying to change who you are and make you better. It's about coming from the fullness of who you are and creating the life of your choice. You're already doing it. You've chosen to create your life exactly as you've created it. Now it's time to play full out.
My encouragement to everybody is play big. Keep expanding your appreciation of who you are. There's no limit to that. Because who you are, where you come from, is unconditional love, infinite and abundant joy, and absolute magnificence in every way.